Alright, that says we are live. Couple of bits of news. One, hey there, whoever came in. Susie is not going tonight. I don't know if she posted a notice about that, but she sent one to some of us privately. Hey Sam, got that damn link there, so all I can see is your name so far till it scrolls up. Who else? Another one of the panel members, not Skipper, the other one, the guy with the long hair. That's how bad my memory is today. Will not be here. Travels or something. So, I asked Susie if it was okay, since she said she was headed to bed 30 minutes ago, if I could go ahead and go early and use some of her time. I'm not going to go 2 hours, I know that for sure. So, here we are. So, I definitely will not be a substitute for Susie. No one could do that. But I will try to talk a lot and talk about fish some and be a little more animated than I usually am. A pulse would be more animated, right? Get down. Got a cat that's trying to knock over my tripod. Had some lighting issues, as you can see. Hey, Floyd. Did you hear me talking? Hey, Mark. Welcome, welcome. You're all out of breath, huh? Yeah. Floyd just had some leftovers, some cranberry, walnut, not banana bread, but another kind, zucchini bread. We had an adoption event today, Sunday, and it was not for the Ark, but several of us from the Ark volunteered to go where they rescue and foster dogs. Have about 70 dogs there. It was a farm and house and large barn and lots of area for them to run. They had horses and a goat and other things, but each of us took one dog and drove it about 45 minutes to another little town where this annual cuddle a cow thing was going on. But it's become kind of like this place that people just go and take dogs for adoption, or they have all kinds of stuff. They have all kinds of food. They have food trucks. They have homemade stuff. But anyway, that finally brought me back around to where Floyd got the cranberry, zucchini, walnut bread. I had some, I bought a small loaf of it, homemade, and snacked on that due to my diabetical stuff throughout the afternoon. And managed to get some home, a little bit of it, and he just finished that up for me, and he loved it. It was very good, homemade. I kept thinking this needs some of that cream cheese icing on it, but that would have made it something that I should really, really not eat. So we had that today. We ended up leaving early, mainly because of me, because I had a lot of trouble with health issues, and we ended up having to leave. So came on, took our dogs back. But the lady I rode with fell. She had a pretty hard fall. Elaine, one of the dogs, and her wanted to go the same place at the same time, and they tripped over each other. Wasn't anybody's fault. And anyway, we took the dogs back to where they went, and then we went to urgent care. And I thought she needed a couple stitches, but they were able to glue it shut and then tape it. And but she's like me; she has really thin skin, so she got a bunch of that peeled off of her. I had put as many little Band-Aids. We always carry Band-Aids and stuff with us. So that's what I've been doing, and I left her there and then got an update from her later and came home and rested. And my main thing was my feet swelling, old people stuff, so I've got to call into the doctor since Friday afternoon to see what I can do about that. Anyway, I've had these feet up in the air. There you go, Sam. Had them up in the air with dogs on my face, and reading and just resting, and didn't sleep last night but 3 hours, so that didn't help today. But got to stay there about 3 hours, so disappointed that I didn't get to spend as much time, and because I rode with Elaine, she had to leave early, but I think she was ready to give it up too. So that's what I've been doing today, guys, and was trying to decide if I was going to go tonight or not, and then Susie messaged and said she wasn't going to, that she was going on to bed. So that's when I said I need to get up with these slightly swollen feet and take advantage of them and do a live stream. So in waiting till the last moment, you see I have light issues. I couldn't get a light in front of me. I've got a fuse or something out. So got a light from the side. And I was trying to get some tanks behind me because I haven't been doing anything with a background other than just junk or stuff behind me. So got 1, 2, 3 snakes stacked up there, and what was to be the natural tank, the nature tank, the local, but I've decided I'm going to convert the 180 to that and bring the few fish that are left in it out. And I might possibly even be moving these tanks, draining them down. Let me turn this up so I can look at comments and say, hello, Todd's got to go. I'm seeing him in time to go. See, I can't see your comments, so I can't talk to you unless I do like this. I do have the link in here for anyone that would like to come up and join me on the panel. Lips back to you too, Sammy, Joel, Davo. Early today, yeah, just because of what I said about Susie. But probably won't go the usual time. Mark. How are you, Sam? Hey, Todd. Bob. See you, Todd. Aquatic News Network. It's Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy. I thought you were a mod here too, Tommy. In fact, I know you are. Wonder why it changed. Did you actually create a different channel, a new channel, rather than just changing the name? I think if you added another channel, that's the issue. I can definitely fix that. Hey, Bruiser. Welcome, welcome. So, yeah, I don't know what I'll do all this time except to chat and hopefully get some people to come up. I just hate to see us not this Saturday or Friday and Sunday group are not going as much. I realize things are going on and people have issues, and me especially. Those are cats just threatening each other. No one was harmed in the horrific screaming. Cats, come here. Now, what'd you break? They're dashing at each other. It's 2 cats. And if I could get one of those 2 adopted, we wouldn't have that. They knocked something off. Probably broke it. I always do it when I get on live. Yeah, new channel. Okay, well, all I have to do is go back to... I didn't notice it last time, so I can even go back to the last stream you were in and fix it. Davo said I finished up my tank maintenance this morning, a 2-day thing. Now I can relax and enjoy them for a couple weeks. Nice. What were you doing? Water changes, scraping algae, that kind of... Stop it. Tibby, come here. Come on. And the poor 3 pet rats are like Damn it, we got rid of that little terrier chihuahua, and now we've got cats fighting around us. So if anybody wants to come up, let me know. Skipper, I didn't hear from. But I wouldn't hear from them this early because we don't go till 8:05. So hopefully Susie feels better, gets the rest she needs. And I did. It only took me a couple of hours to recoup and feel like I could do this. So she has a lot more demand on her than I do. She has a lot more animals than I do now. She may have always had, but for sure she's got a lot more. And she has family. She has daughters and grandkids, and she's very active with those. And she has a partner, so the John Baga guy. So she has a very busy life. So I understand it. Remember to like, for sure. Yes, all that kind of thing and more probably. I was talking to somebody. Somebody will ask me questions because I'm old and the things that never change I can answer correctly, but it was about cleaning the tank, and they were saying that they um, wiped down their plastic plants and ornaments and shells and anything like that. That they wiped those things down. They didn't wash them with soap or anything, but they literally wiped them to clean them. And I said I wouldn't do that because a lot of beneficial. It grows on anything, not just sponge filters and hang-on backs, and we know that it's everywhere. And in fact, that's kind of the way it goes in saltwater. Most of the beneficial bacteria is on all of your rocks and your corals and all of that stuff. Now, of course, you can do all the filtration you want to do and have it in there, but it's not real common to see sponge filters. And sometimes even hang on backs. The stores will do it because of the volume of fish they have in them. But so yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Somebody new getting into the hobby and they'd been doing that, but that can crash a tank. Say you've got one little sponge filter and you wipe all of your stuff down and wipe that bacteria off, then the beneficial bacteria is going to be half or whatever you wipe out, and it may crash the tank. You may have a spike in ammonia. So just something to think about. Just things that are simple, but they're not, if you haven't really thought about that. I was hoping that Trash Cat would be on so we could get an update. I haven't been on the Facebook today, so I don't know how it went with her fish. If they arrived and they were safe and all that. So eager to hear about those and see what's going on with them. I could use a fan in here. Of course, I'm drinking coffee, and it's in the 70s outside, so stands to reason I would get warm. Every changes. What? Sam, every changes his at, it might change. Talking about the wrench. Hey, Craig. Just saw you there. Oh, you just came in, though. Good to see you. What are you up to? What are you up to? I've got the link there, Craig, if you want to come up. It's right at the very top of the stream and haven't been going long. If you'd like to join us, that would be awesome. Show us what you're working on, what you're doing. No pressure. Don't know what you've got going on. I know it's late morning Monday there, if I'm correct on my time conversion. I'm going to take this off this stupid tripod because I can't read the chat when it's turned this way. As far as I know, the fish are doing good. Oh, you're in the car? Damn it. Only way to get your meds. I see. Well, that plan's not going to work out. As far as you know, the fish are doing good, Sam said. Belinda. Yeah, I figured that, Sam. I figured that, Sam. You know, somebody else, coincidentally, I like to have on is Belinda. She's got quite the collection now of crystals and things, and I love to follow her on Facebook. Uh, she's always showing what new things she has and what sales and all that stuff. So I'd really like to have her come on sometime too. Methadone, not weed. Oh, okay. There you go, Sam. You know, when you assume. Sam thinks because everybody in California has the weed medication that everybody in the world has it, I guess. I know they recently, and we talked about this a couple of streams ago on here, recently passed or introduced legislation, Tennessee and the national news again, to stop growing it for the CBD or the THC or whatever they legally grow it as a crop, you know, for those over-the-counter and prescribed medications that have it in it. So, of course, Tennessee are going to do away with it. One of the people that own one of the fish stores, I used to go to, I think Aquarium Reef is the name of it. And I used to do a little bit their social media and post stuff on Facebook of their new things, especially saltwater stuff. They sold their store. No, actually, they didn't. It was the people they bought it from. Sold the store and had some land and went into growing the stuff. So the 2019 Farm Bill made weed legal federally. They just have to call it something else. Yeah. Got gummies and weed coming in an hour to Sam. In an hour to Sam. Hey, Big Steve. What's up? Hey, June. Guys, new people coming in. Susie's off this evening. She's resting up. So I went ahead and went early so that I could get finished early or go longer or whatever. But I've got the link to the stream up in the top of the chat if anybody wants to click on it and come in and show their fish or join up on the panel talking for a while, or just so it's not just me sitting here mumbling to myself. Have a freezer full of gummies that don't do. I jumped. That don't do anything to me. It could be because they're in the freezer, Sam. You know, a lot of that stuff is temperature sensitive, and a lower or higher temperature can affect the potency of them. We used to have, years ago, people would take the little nitroglycerin pills, you know, and if they have chest pain, they put them under their tongue, and people still do that, especially the older cardiac patients that get angina. But they would put them in the refrigerator, and it says right on the bottle, do not refrigerate, keep at room temperature. And they would take them, they'd have chest pain, and they'd end up coming in an ambulance or dying because their medicine was no good anymore because they put it in the fridge trying to, you know, keep it as potent as they could. So that might be something to think about. I don't know. Never had before. Craig said, I'm not a fan of edibles except for the brownies I make. Jen, you've got my address, right? Correct? I was telling it earlier that we were at a big event for all kinds of things, and we went to help this other large rescue group with some of their dogs. The ARC went, several of us went, and they had baked goods and all kinds of things there, but I bought a couple of things, and one was cranberry walnut. Was it eggplant? Is that what I said, guys? Anyway, bread. It wasn't banana bread. Yeah, I think it was eggplant. Oh man, it was good. And I brought a little bit home and gave it to Floyd, and he went crazy. China meds. He went crazy for that stuff. He loved it. China meds. But email me if you want a few. All right, you got it. RSO is the only edible that will still give me an effect. I don't know what RSO is. Yeah, you're an old junkie, aren't you, Sam? You say still give me an effect. You've got an immunity. One thing I remember, and I've seen it over the years, is that people can build up a tolerance to different things, to drugs or anything. But everybody has a lethal dose. In other words, 1 milligram of something might be your lethal dose, and you all your life take a fourth of a milligram, and then a half, and then a 3/4, and you know, and you have to take more and more to get an effect. But when you reach the lethal dose, it will still be lethal. It will still kill you. You'll get your effect, but you'll get the effect you don't want. That's scary. You're not allowed to eat any more of them. I was smoking. There was only one kind of weed. Yeah, it used to be good stuff. I remember that. The few times early on that I smoked it, it was really strong for me. Really strong. Oh, I'm just kidding you, Jen. Thank you for generosity, but I go to pain management, so you know they can say here, pee in the cup anytime. And if I've got marijuana or alcohol or anything, that's the end of those dates with them. I ate like 5 packs of gummy and was wide awake. 5 packs, but one gummy in each one. We've had to do that with dogs that have the gummies ordered by the vet, and we just have to kind of like titrate the dose. Give a quarter of one and then a half of one, and but eventually we find that sweet spot where it works for them. I still don't have my plants. I've had those plants since Thursday. Jesus. Because that's the day I go in to get supplies, crickets and worms, and what else? pain management is my weed. The pills from the doctor did nothing but make me crazier. Yeah, I've had some of those same issues, June, so I'm very honest with them. I was taking morphine for a long time, and then there was the national shortage a couple of months ago that lasted a couple of months. And of course, I had some horrible withdrawal from that. And I said, if I get through this withdrawal from not having the morphine, I'll never take it again. But in the meantime, I also had oxycodone as a supplemental, like for breakthrough pain. So they upped the dose on that, and that's actually more potent than morphine, um, according to the pain management people. So I decided that when the morphine became available again, that I didn't want to take it anymore, that I didn't want to ever have to go through that. So I kind of titrates the word or adjust the dose from day to day. I can have um, 1 or 1.5, 7.5 milligram tablet 3 times a day. And usually I just take one. But if I'm hurting real bad, sometimes when I first wake up, I'll take 1.5 and have coffee with it and get in a better frame of mind and stuff. So yeah, pain management really came into being late. Hey, Paul. And it certainly still leaves a lot to be desired. I know my orthopedic doctor, they have all kinds of specialists there. Like for the neck, I go for my knee to one of them and to another one now for my shoulder. It's all a huge practice in three towns around. But they have a pain management specialist with them now. Hey, Sonny G, welcome in. Then he said I was a junkie. Yep. Well, I tell them when I'm taking too much and when I don't want to take, I don't let them tell me. I don't go to be high. I just go to be able to function, to get out and do the things I like to do. You know, I want to still volunteer, and I wish I could be more comfortable cleaning house. That's what's so painful for me. Doctors are gateway drug dealers, same with Percocets. Yeah, especially in a lot of the smaller towns, it's still a huge problem. Still a huge problem. But in all honesty, quitting marijuana was the hardest thing I ever did. Oh, I can imagine. Quitting cocaine and amphetamines was a hell of a lot easier. Never have had any amphetamines. Way back, um, late 70s, early to mid 80s. That was all the drugs, all the druggies did, all the nurses that partied did cocaine, and that's how I got introduced to it through nursing friends. Of course, that's your license gone if you get caught with that stuff. But that's been 40 years or 45 years. That's what they all say. I know, right? But yeah, the doctor recently offered me the morphine back. Um, or actually, his wife, the nurse practitioner, Beth Ford, and she said, we have morphine. I said, I saw that on the news. And she said, do you want to go back to what? And I said, I don't ever want it again. I never. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. Had diarrhea all the time. So it messed with my electrolytes, my medicines, my blood pressure, my glucose, my diabetes. It was 2 weeks of hell. And then I had like an extended, I'm sure I talked about it back when it was going on several months ago. Sonny says, I didn't have a hard time smoking pot, but quitting dip has been tough. Yeah, tobacco's got stuff in it, or used to have stuff in it that made it more addictive. I don't know if they're still allowed to do that or not, but you're right. Who did we got tobacco, I think, from the Native Americans when the Europeans came here. I've only been given Tylenol, that damn thing, and codeine. Tylenol with codeine or Tylenol separate from codeine. The oxycodone has Tylenol in it. It's got a 500 milligram dose of Tylenol, extra strength Tylenol, in a 7.5 milligram. So, and I could take 4 of those 4 times a day, the Tylenol. So I usually end up, when I take one of the full pain pills, the oxycodone, that's one of my Tylenols in that. And then I'll take, if I take a half of another oxycodone, that puts me at 10 milligrams. That's the max dose per dose per time. And then I'll take a half of the Tylenol. So that's the most I can ever take. And it does the trick. I don't need morphine. It relaxes me and takes the pain away. You're right. Percocet has 300. One of the tricks we learned in pharmacy school, if it says set, that means that it's got acetaminophen in it. It's got the Tylenol, Percocet. There's 4 or 5 of them, but Percocet's the most common one. It survived with the drug culture. Uncle Smiley. Hi, Paul, Sunny, Holly. You're right. Percocet is acetaminophen and oxy. But also oxycodone is a different brand, and it has Lorcet, Lortabs. These are old drugs now. I don't know if they even make them anymore. Lortabs. If it was Lorcet, it's got Tylenol in it. So we learned that. It was a little cheat trick to know like what's in these medicines. For pharmacy, I had to take it for nursing school. Not like pharmacists take, but just the basic, what we would be involved in and stuff. Lorcet, Percocet. There's like 4 of them, but I can't remember, but those 2 now. So you're right, I can confer with that. Uh-oh. For my hubby's kidney stone, the nurse told me to mix both kinds of aspirin for higher doses for him at work, though I was killing him. Yeah, you're right. I love aspirin. If I could ever be addicted to something and not feel bad about it or enjoy it, it would be aspirin. But I got allergic to it. I started getting like wheals and whelps and big old blisters and pustules and stuff when I would take it. But for a sore throat, oh man, to crush up a aspirin or 2 and put it in some just barely coffee, just barely hot enough to drink, and gargle that. Oh my God, with caffeine in it. It's the best thing. Lortabs have hydrocodone. You're right. You are right. Don't cross the streams. Tramadol on prescription, which contains a low amount of morphine. Yep. But they make me so tired. I remember when Tramadol came out, it was so much less addictive, and it was like a new generation, of pain medicine and all that. And it's really good for like body cavity pain, like appendicitis or gallbladder, but it's also good for ortho pain, even though you don't see it given much for that. But back in the day, we would notice if, a resident ordered, whatever for a broken leg, would be like, well, we'll be calling him at 2 in the morning because that's not going to work. The nurses get to know. Buy bottles of Ultram. Yep. You're right, Altram. You're right, Sam. Sam, you know too much about drugs. Gabapentin, there's a lot of people don't like gabapentin because it's used. I take gabapentin at night, but it's mainly to augment my restless leg issues with the other medicines I take for that. But it also makes me a little sleepy. I used to take 300 milligrams 3 times a day of that, and now I take 100 milligrams at bedtime. It was just too much for me. But lots of patients that have diabetes and have the neuropathy like I do, or also have neuropathy from chemotherapy, it burns up a lot of the nerve endings like high glucose do. They really, really swear by the gabapentin. And gabapentin's being used a whole lot more in animals now. Two of the animals I have, dogs I have specifically on chronic pain medicines, Tish, and who's technically the ARCs, but she'll probably live her life out with me. Tish and Jackson, the new little min pin guy, they both have gabapentin, and I don't give it to him except if he seems like he's having trouble laying down and that kind of thing. Oh, and Milo takes it, 3 of them. 3 of the dogs here take gabapentin. Used to take Opana extended release. Now that one I've never heard of. Alec, I've never heard of Opana. Took Tramadol. Yeah, June, it used to be, when I said it was for body cavity pain, get a lot of ladies back in the day, back when I was a student. So that was a minute ago, you can imagine. I graduated nursing school in 78, so the mid 70s. A lot of ladies come in with PID, pelvic inflammatory disease, and it was usually the nasty bugs, that they've gotten in the pelvis. But um, it was really, really good for that. Tall one was another one that was good for soft tissue pain, I guess is the best way to say it. Opana is basically the hardest opiate I've ever touched. I will have to read up on that. It must be fairly new because I've been out of a clinical setting. Uh, wow, 10 years this summer coming up. It's hard to believe. 10 years. Go back this way a little bit. Sorry, I'm at Alec. Osteoporosis to hip and shoulder. I don't have osteo, but I do have arthritis and I do need a total shoulder, but that is not going to happen. Right. Oh, yeah, for sure, June. I saw the O and made it a Joan instead of a June. Yeah, delighted is a good one. Yeah, that's probably why I've never heard of it. It probably never was used. If it's that much more potent, why would you use that? I could see it maybe being a terminal or like a hospice drug. Yeah, Holly, yeah, that's what people say is the neuropathy. And there's generic gabapentin. And one of the things when I was a case manager, a transplant case manager for Blue Cross Blue Shield, of course, a nurse had to be an RN, but the pharmacy at Blue Cross, instead of paying for it, and it's self-funded groups that push that. It's competitive. They want you to find a way to make their medicines for their members be less. Well, there's gabapentin comes in generic forms, but patients, sometimes don't think that they work as well, even though they can be made by the exact same company across the street in a different building, just because the company wants to get a piece of generic brand profits as well. But it was really hard to get the pharmacy. I would have to put in for an override and ask the medical director, and they would always refer it to the pharmacy director. Dr. Smith, Michael Smith, was the pharmacist director back then at Blue Cross, Tennessee. Say another one, Bob? I'm like, yeah, you know. But, imagine going through chemotherapy and you're in remission for stem cell transplants or whatever, but you can't rest. You can't freaking walk or sleep, or like Holly says, your neuropathy is horrible. But most people swear by it. They had my son on 28 different pills. Most were side effects. It's crazy. Living, it's bad enough. Yeah. Yeah. I had some ambivalence, and I won't get into political stuff, but the guy, that Luigi guy, when I had read the stuff that he supposedly wrote, I'm not saying he didn't, but his manifesto about how they would deny his mother having this or have that or this treatment or this certain drug. And I'm like, man, have I been down that road before with patients? And thank God nurses at Blue Cross Blue Shield could not deny anything. The most you could do is if, well, this group is Little Debbie, or this group is Subway, or State of Tennessee. That's one I had, that account. And in there, they have their own benefits. You just administer them. So if it says no this, no that, use generic, then I can't say no, but I pinned it to the medical director or the pharmacist to say no, so that it's not my name on it. So thank God they had that. But I understand when people are in pain and, they want to live their life and enjoy their life, and they know there's something that can help them, but their employer or their employer's insurance won't pay for it. Huawei had Dilaudid in my pain pump, but they stopped feeling it. Huh. You and Luigi were hanging out that day. That was your backpack, I heard. My new doctor prescribed Requip, and I've heard of that, and I'm allowed to take 4 milligrams each night, but only take 2 and have had more rest than the last 20 years. But you better be by the bed when you take it. Requip. And it's the neuropathy it helps. Now, I might look into that, because my neuropathy that's why I couldn't sleep last night. It wasn't so much the restless leg. I have that and have meds for that. But the neuropathy, I like it when the feet are numb and the ankles are numb, but when they're not, it's hell. I'll ask about that Requip. I'll read up on it though first. Yeah, most things are more potent when they're IV, of course. I wonder why. Dilaudid is safer than morphine. That was real popular with a couple of the renal doctors. When I worked in Jacksonville, a lot of them liked the Dilaudid for their patients. They thought they got better relief. Hey, Sarah, you got any medication issues or anything you'd like to share with us? We've landed on medications and things, which is a common thing that we all have been through or are going through or know about. Propinerol. Okay. Thank you, Holly. I have an appointment coming up in, well, it couldn't be more than 2 weeks, but I'll read up on it. Propinerol. See, people either love or they hate gabapentin. There's no in between on that drug. To be told you make too much money for benefits is not right. Yeah, I agree. You are correct. I always worked in commercial insurance. I didn't ever work on the Medicare side or the TennCare side. TennCare is our state Medicare, I guess, but TennCare was supposed to be some of the best insurance you could get. Of course, I have Medicare now, but I make too much to get Medicaid. That's for sure. I asked when I first became disabled and um, started getting Medicare and disability. So I make too much for Medicaid. USA. Yep. Local medical system won't prescribe opioids. Have autoimmune peripheral neuropathy, which has put me in a wheelchair. That's a lot to unpack. Autoimmune peripheral neuropathy. Be careful, Holly. And while we ask you a question like that, it only takes, yeah, they're only contracted with the volunteer that fell today and busted her head open and scraped the skin off her arm. We went to the urgent care clinic she's been to twice and it was closed today. That's when you need urgent cares, on Sunday afternoon. So I said, well, I've been to the one down the road here a couple times and I liked them. And they did take her stuff. She was afraid it wouldn't, but she's also on Medicare, retired, older than me. Go to another city for health care. Vasodilators, like nitroglycerin, National Health System in UK, so we don't need medical insurance. It's free. I know, when you hear about these other places and they try to tell us here, the government does, that Canada and Mexico are awful, but well, why do people go there to have things done that they can't get done here? I have had cases that people would um, that their basic insurance wouldn't pay for them to go to Canada or Mexico, but if it was something that was going to save their life or possibly going to save their life and it had good outcomes documented, I've pinned those things sometimes to the medical directors and got them approved. Not like not like Luigi's mother to get them disapproved. So a lot of times it's very true. It's who's working on the case and how much sympathy or empathy or degenerative disease, disc. I also have that, Alec. That's what I'm dealing with right now in pain management. Pervasive osteoarthritis. Celebrex. I wonder what caused my aspirin allergy. I probably never know. I do take NSAIDs. I never had Celebrex that I recall, so that's not what did it. Mm. Yes, Sam, of course. Hey, kitty. Glad those cats settled down. But no car. What would to rent a car? Could you rent a car? Wow. Well, could you come here and have it, Paul? I guess you would have to have a case manager there hook up with some place here that did it, and the money would be the thing, negotiating the cost of it. And like if you had complications and had to stay 2 more weeks, all of that has to be decided. It gets very involved and tedious, and it's boring, but it's best to CYA. If I did have private insurance, it would be done within a month. Huh. Working on it. Tripton. Tripton. Triptan. Triptan. I'm going to be coming back and looking at these things. There you go, Sam. That's what she takes. Sam's wanting to see if he can get something besides his Viagra that's cheaper. That's why he keeps asking you, Sarah. There's the Terry. There's the Terry. She's reminded me that it's an hour till supper time, till dinner time. It's an hour, so let's don't forget it. Let's not be late. Alec isn't old enough to rent a car. Well, when I say rent a car, not necessarily the traditional way, like some of the bigger towns here, probably in California. They used to call them car services, but I think those things now are Uber and stuff like that. When I lived in New York, I didn't have a car, but instead of trying to take a taxi, we'd schedule a car service. They want 25K. You've done amazing, Sam. I have Medi-Cal in California. It's probably like TennCare. You'd be so fat and depressed without it. You'd be me. Look at that sweet girl. She's her daddy's girl. Look at that. Oh, she's her daddy's. All about her dad. She's daddy's girl. Yeah. I blew on her stomach. You know how you make that noise? Little kids or something. I did that on her stomach, and she looked at me like, "You're not supposed to do that. What are you doing?" So I thought it must have creeped her out. Did it creep her out? Is there any kind of way I could get a little kiss? A kiss? Can you turn over? Come on. She's trying. Just a little kiss. Terry. A little kiss. Oh, there we go. She's a good girl, that Cherry. She really is. My friend would have to drive. Oh, okay. How are the animals? Everybody's doing well. Since little Reese, the little hellion, got adopted Friday afternoon at Pet Sense, it really has changed the dynamics here. It's so much quieter, believe it or not. And a couple of the dogs really had issues with her that I wasn't aware of. Like they were staying away from me and hiding and that kind of thing. So everything's going good. You're supposed to get surgery on your feet. What kind of surgery? For neuropathy? My dogs are sweet, generally speaking, and if I can stay one-on-one with them, they are sweet, but they're jealous. She's Scary Joe. She's a good girl. Oh, here she comes around. She's coming back around. She's a baby girl. Terry's a good girl. Oh, there's the worm. A new worm wouldn't be far behind. These two are so competitive. I had Luigi insurance, but they changed back to Blue Cross Blue Shield of California as the woman in charge. Sarah, I can give you a free consult on that. I would just need pictures of your feet. Oh, Sam. Sam. Insurance is the cost of having anything has gone up. It's craziness here. It's really hard. It wasn't at first when I first retired and went on fixed income, but after COVID, it's really hard. I certainly can't do the things I used to do and spend like I used to spend. We can't just get a snake just because we want it, can we? We can't do it. There's that light I had to rig up. The top of your head shining, Terry. And there's Jackson, little Jackson wanting up. They just all want up. When Terry comes, they want to take her time. Just waiting to see what you said about your feet. Oh, rheumatoid arthritis. Mm-mm. I have arthritis, tendonitis, and bone spurs in both shoulders, a torn labium on my left, and something else on my right. It doesn't hurt as bad as my left, so I don't care. I have bone spur in my thoracic spine, and I never knew it was there until I had an MRI or something for my neck, and they got it in there. But now I notice when I bend over, it will pop, and like 4 or 5 of them will like zip. They'll snap and release degenerative arthritis. I got that from my mother. Private medical care is $90 a month for us. What is the dollar worth there, Paul? The American dollar, I guess, is what I'm, the conversion. I guess I can take that down, can I? Yeah. Well, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for Bob to come on. I had plantar fasciitis really bad one time, and it was before I was diabetical. and the doctor wanted to inject some steroids and then do some procedures. And I was like, the hell you say? I need these feet to walk on. Do y'all think I should have a flight of ideals, but you're used to it, right? Another auction, art auction. I would like to get Sarah to come on it like last time. She's doing new things and changed some of her techniques, and she started prepping up for live streaming. So that would be cool. But I think about doing an auction sometimes, but I don't know if there's a demand for it. Stenosis is what's my problem today. I said give him 2 minutes. He's looking up the dollar. $1 equals 75 pence in our money. And pence is cents, right? Basically. Uh-oh. Oh, there's the worm, Terry. Terry said, I see her. She's going to get right between us. You know where she's going. She's going to get right in there between us. Yep. She's trying to let me in the mouth, but I'm not going for that. Yep, there's the notification for the Tennessee Fish Farm stream. The lady that, there she goes. Yep, Terry's trying to counter her and come on around. Look how they bind to the, here comes Terry on around. God, you girls. Oh my God. Oh, Terry pushed you back over. Girls, girls. My gosh. Let's sit right there. She's doing good work. Yeah, she is doing good work. I see some of her retro stuff like from 5 years ago. Ease and creeping back in too. I pointed that out to her on a couple of things. I get this super steroid injected in shoulders and knee. Alec, that's what I'm waiting on is my shoulder injection. It can only be every 3 months, or insurance will only pay for it every 3 months. And the knee I haven't had done for, I don't know, 8 or 9 months. Today it was bothering me, what with all the other things, but whew, the steroids mess with my diabetes too. A gardener friend had to retire from stenosis operation help. Not big on back operations. Yep. I had a lumbar hemilaminectomy in the 90s, and I had no choice. Of course, procedures have evolved since then, but my son's pug, Nugget, is moving back to my house. Oh, he and his wife are working in Japan next year. Love that chunky potato dumpling. He's named after her. Oh my God, that thing keeps jumping. You guys, girls, ladies are heavy, but more so than that. Where's the worm over here? Wormy? She said, I'm not wormy. She's not wormy. You girls are hot. You're making me hot. And I was already hot. Good Lord. Look at her, Terry. She's standing on my bad shoulder. All right. Time to jump down. Jump down. See who can get down quickest. Terry did. Good girls. Those are some good girls. He's just a pug. Well, these are just, well, they're Chihuahua pugs. My back's killing me. Oh, I bet. I bet it is, Paul. I've got to do some hang on back filter stuff right over there in just a few minutes. It won't take me too long, but that's what I've got to do. And some partial water changes. Floyd, did you come for coffee? You see they got up and Floyd flew right in. However, they don't bother him. If he wants here, he gets here. You got it? You got your coffee? Huh? Look in there. No one's talking. Can't hear them, can we? Huh? Ah, 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 ah. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah. Ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Floyd. Good night, guys. I'm going to take advantage of going early and get out of here early. Get to work on these tanks. Yeah, me too. Never, 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 never have an elective surgery. Never, ever, ever, never. Sam's leaving. That was his cue to me that he was bored of us and he wanted me to end the stream. I feel like I'm just talking about nursing and medical stuff, but we're all sharing it. I lost my Jaguar last week. Must have been about 16. Oh, it's a good age for one. Floyd? Oh, look at him. Look at that sweet boy. Look at him. He's so cuddly. Something keeps him. Even Canada has 6-month waiting list. My neighbor's getting a hip replacement next week. Obamacare. I thought I was too when you said that. I thought I must have said something that gave that impression. But I will in a couple minutes here. Floyd. Floyd. Yep. 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 You're a good boy. Are you a baby? Come here. Now, here's the baby. Here's the baby. Oh. Here's the baby. Little baby getting his head rubbed. Where the hell is Patrick at? Last time we asked that, he popped up. You thought I was whinnying like a horse? Good, wonderful weekend. Strength, aid, healing to you all. Amen to that. All right. Well, on that, hey, don't scream in that ear, please. Don't scream in my ear. All right. On that note, I'm gonna end it up and get up and walk my dogs. It's almost dark, and it's not almost dark. It's dusky out there though. And do my aquariums. Thanks, guys. Love y'all. Take care. Good night. Bought a car camera. You bought a car camera. I know you're going to do a video on that. Cool. I thought about doing that. All right. Good night. Much love. They told me 2 years it was good for you. 6 months. Oh, okay. Good night.